talk about dating, which if you know me, you're going to be very confused. And don't worry, because for those of you that don't have context, I am lucky enough to be in a stable, happy relationship, have been for over a decade, right? Weird flex. But hear me out before you run off and you go, yeah, no authority on this, you don't understand. I do, from an outsider's perspective, and sometimes I actually think that's what people need, is someone that is kind of looking at things objectively. Because, you know, I have plenty of friends in very different areas of the dating community. We have queer dating, we have polyamorous, we have people in straight passing relationships, straight relationships, people that are very happy to be alone, people that hate being alone. Such a spectrum, right? And I'm just kind of sitting up here and I'm like watching and observing, and I have a few takeaways and I try to keep them to myself because who am I to speak on someone else's relationship? But I have thoughts, guys, and I want to talk about it, right? Because it's something that is coming up a lot in the texts that I'm getting at the moment. I don't know if it's something in the weather or or what's going on, but tides be turning, and it's nice to see, but it's also interesting. So, right, where do I begin? So I, again, I'm lucky enough, you're gonna have to bear with me, I promise this is not some weird flex, I realise how weird and lucky I was, but I started to get into actual relationships kind of at the very start of online dating, right? I know things like Plenty of Fish and everything had been around for years and years, and all of like the mums were using it, but in terms of things like Tinder, like that had just kind of started off. It wasn't where it is now. And I did try it. I tried it very, very briefly and I hated it. I think I was maybe on it for like 2 weeks and I was like, it's not for me. Because I don't have the mental energy. I think I was in sick form at the time and I just had too much going on to give my mental energy to, hey. And also, I didn't have the willpower because I was kind of doing it as a social experiment because everyone around me was getting in relationships. And I'll be honest, I had been in two very, childish relationships. They weren't really going anywhere physically or mentally, to be honest. It was kind of this is my companion and it's not platonic, and that was kind of my first foray into it, and it's kind of as far as it got because both of them were dickheads, and I know my worth already despite being a very anxious person, and I think socially at the time very nervous and very unsure. I also already, whether it was subconscious or not, knew my worth and thought, I just don't care enough. I do not care enough to be dealing with this. And I was not the one that broke it off. But when it was broken off, I very much was just kind of like, oh, well, that was me trying for a little bit. And I don't know that it's for me. I just kind of moved on with my life. I think I was knocked. I think I played the game. Like I was knocked maybe in a very thespian way of like, I need to suffer loss and loss of love. And, I tried to put on the sad songs and like really feel it. And I just didn't. I was just like, oh, yeah, that happened. And now it's over. All right. But then I very naturally found the partner that I'm with now. We were friends first and things naturally progressed, which I always stand by, I think is the main route I would suggest for people. And I realise it's very hard, particularly as an adult, to meet people. But I just think going in with the goal of banging, essentially, don't do it, guys, because then you wonder why they're just seeing you as a piece of meat. Maybe it's because you're seeing them as a piece of meat. That's a separate topic. That's not what I'm here to talk about today. What I'm here to talk about today is knowing your worth. And it's something I've said for years and years, and I've kind of been slowly tinkering away at like, how do I phrase this so that people actually listen? Because it's like it goes in one ear and out the other. And I know, again, very rich coming from someone that has been in a long-term relationship from a young age. But like, guys, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing you go through all these things, and insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Let me say that again. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Look for something new. If you keep going for those boys, maybe stop doing that. And I know, like, oh, I love a bad boy. Ugh, do you? Do you have the mental capacity to deal with them? Because that's what it comes down to, right? Is whether you're attracted to someone obviously plays a role. But you also have to think about, do I want to spend my valuable time and energy on what this person is presenting? People talk to me about the dates they've been on, right? And they're going in, sometimes they're women. This is not a female exclusive experience. Sometimes they're guys, right? And they will go in and they will sit there, and here they are, degree in hand, educated, hobbies, friends, attractive, great conversationalist, funny, the list goes on. And what does the person opposite them give? You look hot. Give me more, right? What are your hobbies? What are you doing? So we used to joke, right? We had this friend, she's still a friend. But when I was in school and, you're first starting to like look at other people, she would almost like vet partners. She would like go up to them, and I kid you not even a hello. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What's your heritage? And I don't think she meant that in a race kind of way. I think it was more so what's your upbringing like? Because, if people like broken figures and all that, fine. And there is nothing to say that because you came from a certain place, you are going to be a certain way. However, some people, again, it's about mental energy. What do I have spare to give, right? Because at the beginning of the relationship, you're not investing as much. When you're in deep, like I'm in deep, right? I've been doing this for over a decade. I'm pretty invested in the family, in the life goals and everything. But when you're just talking to someone, you don't want to uproot your whole life to deal with that. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's what she meant. But regardless, she'd go in and she basically had this interview list of things she wanted to know about a person. And we used to be like, this is intense, this is insane. But I kind of get it. Now that I'm, again, like older and I'm watching all these people, I'm like, I kind of get it. Because it lays out so immediately, okay, well, and I don't think it immediately made her decide yes or no, but it told her, what am I dealing with, right? And it kind of allowed her to make a game plan. So weird way of doing it, but I kind of get it. Because at the end of the day, early dating is a distraction from your life. And it's how much do I want, like, how... That's a weird way of putting it. I think it's very early days. It is a distraction, right? You're going about your life and you're like watching the text messages. In this day and age, it's all through the phone, right? Watching the text messages. Oh, have they called me back? It's a distraction, right? Once you're a little bit more invested, it's not a distraction because it's not a giving of energy, it's a mutual exchange of energy. You want someone that fills you with energy, that fills your cup, right? If you've heard the spoon analogy, there are a finite amount of spoons that you have to give in a day, and they represent your energy, right? And some people will take an entire spoon from a 5-minute conversation, and some people will give you a little back pocket spoon and be like, hey, it's nice to see you, boom. And they give you energy back, right? And I like to think that you want to find a partner that doesn't deplete your spoons. Like full on, doesn't take a single spoon. And, I'm lucky enough that I found that, and I want that for my friends. They talk to me and they're so drained by these dates that they're going on, and it's painful because I'm like, look at what you have to give. Look at what you represent. Like, you are a businesswoman. You are, like I said, smart, intelligent, funny, witty. Don't waste your energy on these people that are just sucking it from you. Time is short. You need that energy to look after yourself, to devote to platonic relationships. Give it to your family, give it to your friends, give it to your found family. Don't waste it on some person that's just kind of trying their luck. You want someone that approaches you, that says, I am interested in you. And, they don't have to match you. This is not me saying, oh, well, if you've got a degree, you should absolutely not lower your standards. You should find someone that also has a degree. No, that's not what it's about. But they also need to offer you something, whether that is emotional or, like I said, energy, whether it is support and comfort. They have to offer something back. It can't all be give. And I really struggle when these people repeat the same cycle over and over again of give. And they wonder why they're exhausted. Anyway, that's the brief iceberg, the tip of the iceberg that I have to say on this. And I'm probably not great at phrasing it because I don't often speak on this topic because I don't feel qualified to, because like I said, very lucky that I kind of skipped the dating scene, full stop. I've never been on a proper date. By the time I was going on dates, I was already deep in a relationship, and they were kind of, let's do date night, let's have some fun, let's pick each other up at a bar. We were already in deep. Like, I really feel, particularly in this day and age where it's all Tinder, and I sound like an old fogey, I really do, and I know many people that have met lifelong partners on these apps. I'm not saying the apps themselves are the issue, it's how people choose to use the apps. It's so fickle. So you really have to kind of dive and dig for the people that actually want connection. And it's hard because it's just another thing to learn. It's another thing that you kind of have to learn how to market yourself. And that's horrible, especially if it's someone's first date, right? It's their first, I think I could go for a relationship. You don't know about yourself. And, I do believe that every relationship that you have, whether it's platonic or whether it's romantic, everyone you meet in life teaches you something about yourself. So in those early days, you don't know what you want, you don't know who you like. You are going to be driven by things like appearance, and apps like Tinder do encourage you to just look at someone and go, do you see the problem? And physical attraction does play a role. Absolutely it does. But there is something to be said about meeting someone naturally through your own hobbies. It's something I've always said to my friends that are struggling on the dating apps, because not everybody does. Some people, like, if you're watching, you know who you are in the most wonderful relationship that they found on a dating app. But it's because they knew immediately how to skip through the bullshit. Like, they know. And that's not them swiping, that's not them swiping via appearance. It's seeing through. It's reading between the lines. It's that girl on TikTok, the one that like goes through the profiles and she's like highlighting all the red flags. She's like, how do you not notice this? You've got to sift through so much, and it just takes so much time, and I really feel for people that have to do it. So I will always recommend you go about your life, you engage in your hobbies, and you find self-love for yourself. And when you find someone that doesn't have to share your hobbies, but respects your hobbies, and appreciates that you are a well-rounded person and can give you that self-worth, maybe that's the route to go down. Not, hey, get a grip. It just, or leeches. Leeches are a whole other topic. Don't get me started on leeches. Know your worth. Ladies, gents, everyone in between, know your worth.